Hello, everyone. It's been a while, but I decided to do another video, a how-to on this latest assignment I'm going to have. Um, this assignment is the museum website survey. Basically, you will look up a website to a museum, and you will look at the site, and then you will look at the and artwork that is on that website. So, um, I've actually assigned this before. It was kind of a reflections alternative, but this particular assignment is so open ended that it's repeatable. So, I decided to do this for the second major grade. Um, so so the assignment look a lot like this, and I've got attached the survey itself, um, and of course a list of museums. So uh, go to the survey itself, and you can look at uh, the page here, and it's separated into three parts: part one, part two, and part three. Um, Going back to the other uh, document, this is a list of museums. They're a wide variety of kinds of art. They're all over the world. Um, so you have a lot of choices here. So and these all have at least a passably decent website. Which includes artwork. We'll go ahead and just kind of walk through this. So you start part one. It says names because typically when I do this in classroom, it's typically like with partners. Um, anyway, you will go on the internet and Google the name of the museum you've been assigned, or the museum that you choose in this case. Um, so okay, I'm on the. All right, say you chose the Prado Museum. What is the Prado? You could Google it. So they have a lot of websites on this. Let's click on this one. Okay, and you see there's a lot going on here. Uh, Even in foreign museums, tend to uh, they tend to have English versions of their website. Um, that should not be too much of a problem. Sometimes they'll go directly to the English site. Sometimes it'll ask you, like up here, it'll have a ES, which is Spanish. Um, and then, of course, you can choose other languages. And I just picked this. This is the Spanish version. Um, and it'll be something like this. Sometimes you'll see like little flags, like you'll see a Spanish flag for Spain, uh, and a British or American flag for English, and a German flag for German, and so forth. Anyway, to do the walkthrough, I'm not going to use the Prado because I want that to remain an option. I decided to go with a museum a little closer to home. This is a sample. You cannot choose this museum because I'm going to do it here. You could choose just almost any other museum on the planet, but you cannot choose this one. So, and besides, yeah, I mean, you could go visit this one basically anytime anyway. All right, so Museum of Southwest. You Google Museum Southwest, and they've got a website. It's actually a really good website for such a small museum. Um, they've actually been on top of it. So go to the west, go to the survey. So you got the first part of number one already done. So in the museum I'm visiting today, I would write Museum of the Southwest. So best way to answer these questions, I think, is to probably open a docs document. Um, and I would just maybe number. Of course, if you could figure out a way to make this editable, that would be great. So, so number one would be Googled. I'm just going to call it that. So I'm going to type all that out um, because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. Okay, so uh, we are visiting Museum of the Southwest. All right, so that brings us to number three. So explore the site and considering the following. You don't, strictly speaking, have to answer these. I mean, it'd be kind of helpful if you did, just to, and they're basically yes or no um, questions. And that's split into two parts. So, does the site have an online gallery or high quality images? So, let's look around, get involved. Collections. So, all right. So they've got quite a bit going on here. They've got a few things going. I believe these things are in their permanent collection, if I recall correctly. Um, so the so the permanent collection at least is they've got some really good images here, and they even have some detail on it. So you see quite a bit. You can go back. Um, the This museum is does really well with traveling exhibits. But right now, they got mostly their permanent collection on display. That's probably due to COVID. Um, so they don't have like a virtual tour, but they do have some images. So I would probably, for 3A, I would probably call that a qualified yes. We'll just put yes. Uh, and then, does the site feature easy directions on how to visit IRL or in real life? Um, all right, so we go back to the front page, very front page. They do have the hours, and you look towards the bottom, there's an address here and even a phone number. So basically, everything that was on here, um, basically, all the information you need is at the front of the page. Now, click the ticket. Typically, this particular museum is free, although sometimes they'll charge for like special exhibits. Um, and of course, they're always happy to take donations. So, all right. So, I would certainly answer the second one, yes. So we'll just do that. All right. What kind of art is primarily at this museum? Okay, there's a couple ways you can answer this. Let's look at what they got. So it could be a painting museum. It could be, or you could name a medium, or you could name a particular genre of art or a particular kind of art. Um, this particular museum has a little bit of everything, but they seem to really focus on a lot of Western history, history of this area. So, and we've got everything from uh, ancient Native American pottery up to Spanish chainmail, um, to modern pottery, to uh, even archaeological artifacts. So, for this one, I would say Western art or Western, shall I ask, Texas art. They don't seem to be particularly devoted to a this particular medium, but there are museums out there that are. So just be mindful of that. All right. So and part one is done. So now part two, which really is the most fun part. Uh, all right, and five is separated into um, several questions. So um, they don't have an awful lot on here, but they've got some things. So I'm going to choose one of these. I would choose artworks or the pottery. I'm not really sure I would choose something like this. I mean, you can try that if you want to, but I wouldn't try. I wouldn't do anything like armor or arrowheads. I mean, we have arrowheads that you go digging around a desert, you probably find some. Anyway, uh, this is interesting. I like this. I think we're going to do this one. So one thing you can do is, especially if they don't have like a virtual tour or anything, you can do open image in new tab, and you've got a decent view of this. So, um, all right. So, what country or culture is the artwork from? And that is your first question on that. So we'll do A. And it is this guy is a printmaker from New York City, and then he moved out here. So we'll say this is American. Um, or United States. What media is the artwork? And if you can see right here, this is charcoal on tissue paper. So it was drawn in charcoal. So if you wanted to just put drawing, that would be fine. I'll put charcoal drawing. Charcoal drawing on tissue paper. That's got to be difficult. Anyway, so the next question is, what is the title? And some things, especially if it's really ancient, this is technically untitled. Don't put untitled. Untitled's kind of a cop out. I wouldn't go with that. So female Indian with hair up is they got in parentheses up. Probably some staffer came up with that decades later, but we're gonna go for that with the title. Female Indian with hair up. Okay, so what else we got? What era year is the artwork from? Uh, That would be this is 20th century, probably mid 20th century. On many things, you're not going to get a precise date, particularly if you, particularly if it's really ancient artwork. I mean, I'll just go back and show you this pottery bowl has a range of several hundred years here. So, I mean, they don't really often know, exactly when something was made. Um, Now, pretty much the newer an artwork is, the more accurate the dating can be. Um, so, um, this says CA 1907, 1955. We'll say early 20th century. Um, so basically, pretty much, unless it's within the last 100 years or so, as long as you stay in the at least a ballpark date, you can pretty much write whatever you want there. Okay, so and that's the second part done. Okay, what do you see in the artwork? So this is part three. What do you see in the artwork? Describe it. All right, so yeah, this formatting is kind of. I'm used to using Word, so I'm a little old school that way. Okay, so what do you see in the artwork? So just you look at it carefully. Sometimes it'll be a few minutes. Um, so I see a profile image. Profile is when it's you're to the side. Um, see a profile and image of a woman's head drawn in profile. Um, so that's one way to answer it. Try to dig a little deeper. So what else would you see about that? Look at the jawline here. Isn't that the kind of angular? And she has an angular jawline. Um, and is rendered or drawn semi-realistically. I mean, it's not uh, photographically accurate. So look at her expression too. Her hair's well, her hair's done, but look at the expression. It's like she's paying special attention to something, like maybe uh is concentrated and intense. Okay, so that would be a really good description. Maybe you could ask a question about it. What is she looking at? What is so important? And there's literally a million other questions you get. But if you write like just 2 or 3 sentences on this, you're in good shape. So we're gonna move on to the seventh one. Okay, now this one. Do you like the work? And sometimes you're ambivalent about it, uh, which I kind of am about this one. I am exactly actually for the sake of argument. I'm gonna say I don't like it, just simply because um, I don't really like the really angular facial characteristics. It kind of wants to write this for you. Um, I don't like the angular facial characteristics, which I don't. Which, if you notice, really are not all that common in women, particularly women with Native American ancestry. Uh, there are exceptions to this, of course. Um, so, what I do like about this is that it does still have an expressive quality. So you can say, well, I don't like it because, but this is one thing I do like about it. So you could say both, really. Um, so, all right, are still staring intensely at something. So that's a good quality. I also admire the medium. Um, So really what's really interesting about this is that he did charcoal on tissue paper. And if you've never really worked with charcoal, one thing you need to know about it is it really it really likes to grip the paper, and then tissue paper is very thin and delicate. And so he's taking a thin and delicate surface and applying a medium that really is not very delicate. Um, so, and I have to admit, he really pulled it off. So anyway, so you really want to go in with a couple of things. So like another couple sentences on number 7, and then you're basically done. So for number 8, and that's your last one, you just do a quick sketch of it. I would just just a little thumbnail there. So I would just do really, really like a 2-minute sketch. And in this case, you've got this kind of oval right here, and it's this sort of block for the neck, and this other kind of rectangular shape for the hair. And that's just about all you would have to draw. So that basically is it. It's probably one of the easier major grades I assign. but it is important because it kind of gets you out there, exploring this stuff, and looking at it. So anyway, so I guess that's about it. This will be due next Thursday, but as you could tell, it could be done in 20 minutes probably. So anyway, take care, and I'll see you soon.